going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal, Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check. This is your preview for WrestleMania 40, and that is Jake fucking DeMarCo. What's going on, buddy?
WrestleMania week, we're here, we're loud, we're live, we're in charge, and we're ready to go, baby. We're excited.
Stepping over the corpse of AEW Dynamite, we're here to talk about the show that has fans in the audience.
Sad to say, yeah. I mean, out of an arena that fits only 6,000, everyone keeps saying, go to the smaller arenas. They did. How much smaller can they go to? Pretty soon they'll be at bingo halls.
Being in a smaller arena doesn't negate the fact that you had 3.3 thousand people
out of a 6,000 seat arena, so they still couldn't do it at a smaller venue. And I think part of it, they were just in Boston 2 weeks prior, so it doesn't help,
I know you guys touched on that on Joe's show. I hadn't even put that together because, quite frankly, I don't care.
Yeah, they do have that kind of an issue. Like, they're in Canada for 6 shows in a row. Well, no wonder why you're not selling out. People don't want to go to 3 weeks worth of Dynamite.
Well, I was going to go to Dynamite, and then I remembered what Dynamite is, and then I remembered that Money in the Bank weekend is coming.
Exactly. That's going to be explosive. And look at the schedule they have this year for overseas shows already.
Oh my God, the Scotland thing. We're going to talk about the Scotland thing later, because as soon as they said Clash in the Castle is back, it's like, yeah, they're going to announce it in Scotland. But I do want to start this off on a pretty positive note. I've already done my predictions for Stand and Deliver. For those of you listening right now, you want to go check that out. That's awesome. I've already done my personal podcast on possible WrestleMania 40 worst case scenarios. Had a lot of fun doing that, getting a lot of reactions on that one as well, so appreciate you guys. But one of the things I read today is Stand and Deliver this coming weekend for an NXT show, and I'm not going to say that this is gangbusters or anything like that, but it's creeping up on 14,000 people.
I know it's incredible, and I heard your predictions as well on your channel, and I'm telling you, I'm really excited to see what this show delivers, pun intended, because I mean. They have something special again with NXT. It's really starting to gain a lot of momentum, and it's shining in its own way. Not because it's counter-programming to AEW, but because it's something a little bit different than the main roster.
Well, you know me. We have always been really opinionated about NXT, and for a long time, this isn't black and gold, and it's not black and gold, and I would still love a return to a little bit more of the black and gold element, but I've said it before, I've said it to you, I said it in my preview. For this version of NXT, they're approaching as close to TakeOver, like what their version of a TakeOver quality show would be. And I always hang the hat on, every time you predict an NXT show, you kind of have to keep in the back of your mind, like, okay, when we're thinking about what they're going to do with a match, is it because this person is going up? Is it because this person is going up? My biggest surprise going into Stand and Deliver, and for those of you that heard the preview, this is a bit of a repeat, but I could have sworn when they sent Gallows and Anderson down to NXT for a bit to help out their tag division, I thought it was going to be the Wolf Dogs versus Gallows and Anderson, just, put some more known names on the card. I mean, it's a tactic, right? But they didn't. Yeah. They went with Axiom and Nathan Frazier, and I think that's going to be a hell of a match.
Absolutely.
And the rest of it is all like
hard, top to bottom. I'm liking what they're doing with Ilya. That's been intriguing.
Ilya and the Dawn is going to be interesting.
On fire.
Yeah, but like I say, everything for a Stand and Deliver or an NXT show in general right now, 50% of my prediction is based on who do I think is coming up. And I mean, we've already done some call-ups early this year off the back of the Royal Rumble, which I think is a way better take. But I do think we're going to get the odd surprise here or there after WrestleMania. Maybe not as many, because I think there's going to be some surprises at WrestleMania. But there's always the chance, Carmelo and Trick, one of them or both of them could come up, because the rumor is, excuse me, the rumor is that they want to continue that rivalry on the main roster, which is kind of cool. To just transplant an entire rivalry to the main roster is a neat thing. I said it last night. Dragunov and D'Angelo, I just want to see what that match looks like, quite frankly.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
It's really weird, but I mean, Baron Corbin is shining. We got our Weirdos match with Sean Spears and Joe Gacy. Josh Briggs, who 2 years ago you were telling me to keep an eye on, and I did.
Yes.
And he's finally got a shot at a singles title. Don't think he's going to win. I think Obafemi's going to kill both of them, but
yeah,
it is
I
what
don't
it is.
think he's going to win either, but it is intriguing,
but it's a shout,
at least.
Right?
Exactly. You know, it was
Obafemi
interesting to see
like
Julia
instant.
at WWE World today. The Rock was 2 hours late to his signing.
Yeah.
You know, you got Cody Rhodes saying he wants to redesign the world title if he wins. All this stuff going on.
People very, very upset about some guy that I'm not familiar with coming over to be part of WWE and make NXT Japan.
Yeah.
I can't really talk about it because I don't know much about the guy, but I'm like, all right, if NXT wants to expand, I mean, we see how well NXT UK did, but maybe Japan can do better. They can be new Japan.
Yeah, no kidding. New Japan.
All right. So let's jump in because I know you're on a bit of a time frame. Before we get into WrestleMania properly, I do want to talk about WrestleMania SmackDown. I do want to talk about the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal just briefly because I wouldn't care, and nobody cares about the Andre. I'm going to go through the people that are in it really quickly. This is coming from No DQ, so thanks to them. Andrade, Ricochet, Chad Gable, Bronson Reed, Shinsuke Nakamura, Omos, Brutus Creed, Julius Creed, Ivar, Akira Tozawa, Otis, JD McDonough, Apollo Crews, Veer, Sanga, Cameron Grimes, Kit Wilson, Elton Prince, Ashanti the Adonis, and Cedric the Alexander. Cedric the Alexander, anyways.
Not Cedric.
Yeah, it's tired in here. The only reason I bring this up is what we saw this week on Raw, and I want to zero in on Andrade, JD McDonough, and Ricochet specifically, because there's something happening there. The fact that all of Judgment Day have suddenly decided that they need to deal with Ricochet, and the fact that Dom kind of went out on his own and said, hey, Andrade, why don't you take care of Ricochet for us, and the fact that JD is in the match, there's a story happening there. I can't quite put my finger on what it is, because we're going to talk about Dom later.
There is something there. They do have something brewing.
I should say I've been very inconsistent with WWE last week and the past couple of weeks because I've had other things to talk about. The Ricochet JD McDonough match from a couple weeks ago was fucking awesome out of nowhere. So if we get another version of that, that's fine. Andrade, I hate to say it, but they brought him back and he's here now.
Yeah, they haven't done anything with him either. But you could be like FTR cutting a promo on Collision in front of a third of the audience that they had on Dynamite, doing another rah-rah speech that Edge cut, like it's the 9/11, after for SmackDown. They're really like, come on, everybody, it's okay, we're still good, right? Right.
You want to hurt my soul. As a Toronto kid, you want to hurt my soul, don't you?
It's brutal, isn't it?
No, we're not doing that. We're not giving that the oxygen that it desperately needs. I haven't even had time this week to go properly over the CM Punk interview that I don't even think was that inflammatory. Everybody's had their story. Now Punk's had his 2 cents.
Yeah, and it kind of just corroborates a lot of what was reported on the negative side, the side that was always the liars and, the cornet kind of storytellers, quote unquote.
Nobody wants to mention the fact either that he, said a lot of good about them and about the matches that he had and the time that he had there.
He really didn't crap all over the company whatsoever. He tried
shit on
to
Tony Khan, rightfully so.
He did. He said Tony Khan isn't a boss, but he didn't say that he was the worst boss. He didn't, you know what I mean? Like, he could have went and really.
He wasn't sitting there saying okay, this guy just went and shagged my wife. It's like, no, I went to this guy expecting him to act like a boss and he didn't. Like, that's not anything we didn't already know.
Yeah, but it didn't warrant Adam Copeland going out there saying that AEW makes pro wrestling fun, and it makes it better, and that's where the best wrestle.
Yes, but WWE are the ones that will actually find you a doctor when you hurt yourself.
And pay your medical bills.
Oh, my God.
But there's an app. There's an app for that.
Oh, God.
There's an app.
I could go on all day. I'm really not going to. On this, honestly, I said it in the previous pod, my biggest fear for this match is that somebody wins, it doesn't matter, and we forget about it in a week. I'd love to see them give it to somebody. I'd love to see them give it to JD McDonough, because literally every member of Judgment Day has something to do at WrestleMania, and I don't think it's going to go well for some of the other ones. So if JD McDonough comes into the clubhouse next week and says, hey, at least I brought something back from WrestleMania weekend, that could be something. Ricochet is apparently set to be the first WWE Speed champion. I don't know if you've seen any of these.
Yes, we were there live for the first match.
That's right.
That was Ricochet beating Dragon Lee. That was impressive.
In 2 minutes 59 seconds.
Yeah, right at the cusp of the 3-minute mark.
We never got a chance to talk about you and Danny checking out SmackDown. Hope you had a good time.
We did indeed. It was certainly an experience getting to be in the front like that. Sitting ringside in such a way was obviously that once in a lifetime thing. We're definitely in a staff/family area. You could tell, not somewhere they really give off a lot of tickets, because a lot of people were talking about they're going to work Mania and all that kind of stuff next to us. So it was amusing in that regard.
Nice. You guys were kind of in the catbird seat. You sent me a couple of pictures. Yeah.
The only thing was that we had 2 security guards directly standing in front of us, facing us, because they had to look behind us and take out signs and whatnot that they saw.
Oh yeah.
So they were just in front of us, blocking the view.
I did the find your friend thing. Our good buddy Guapo was at a Impact show not too long ago, and because it's a much smaller venue, because it's TNA, they are where they are right now, which I think is fine. Very, very easy to spot people. And I was trying to watch SmackDown, because I went to see, what did I go see this weekend? I don't even remember what I went to see.
Was it Kong?
It was Kong. Yeah, Kong's awesome.
Right.
We'll talk about that another day as well. But I was watching SmackDown late, so I already had the pictures you sent me while I was watching SmackDown, and I was trying to line up the two. It's like, okay, if he's seeing it from this direction, that means he must be sitting there.
Yeah, I was on the hard camera sign itself, where the camera is. So they did everything towards us, but they don't film towards you.
The only thing I can fault for Raw and SmackDown in the past couple of weeks is we were ready for Mania, I think, about 2 weeks ago. And I think it was a matter of just keeping the wheels turning. But even that has been
It still wasn't bad. I mean, it was just a filler show, but it wasn't a bad show at all either.
I mean, WWE's not really doing bad shows right now. They're kind of filling build. I'm an asshole. It's fine.
Yeah, well, hey, that's the thing. They're selling out, and they've done it, so many times in a row now. They're up to, 14 or 15 shows straight?
I think it's closer to 19, actually, bud.
Yeah, it might be even higher than that. So
and I love how every time they have a sellout, they've got that camera at the top of the building, because it's that. And what we've been talking about the past couple of days is when they have to bring in the smaller Tron, because they have to fit more people in. I'm hashtagging it right now. Hashtag small screen flex.
Absolutely, because they brought more people into SmackDown. Even people were sitting behind the Tron, so you could see the ring, but you couldn't see any of the entranceway. And also TNA tonight, I mean, as we're recording, it's not far from now, but they're having, obviously, Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth taking on, Shelley, so that's going to be a hell of a match there, and we'll see what happens. Alex Shelley,
Nemeth is going for Moose and the title in 2 weeks. Hopefully, I'll be doing a preview for that as well. I think they're doing great. Like, they're not running arenas or anything.
Yeah, but I mean, they have Mustafa Ali taking on Rhino. There's Frankie Kazarian in a match. They've got people, actually wrestling, and what's going to happen for the card.
Yeah. So let me tell you something, man. Destiny a couple weeks ago. Yes, check it off your Spaz Phoenix bucket list. It's fine. Our guy right now, who is our guy? Our guy was Pete Dunne for a while. Our guy was Josh Alexander for a while. Our guy was Aiden Prince for a while. Right now, our guy is a guy named Gabriel Fuerza. They call him El Diablo. And he had a match with Mustafa Ali that would knock your fucking socks off. And it was so good. And he was such the dick character and still managed to turn it off right at the end of the match, grab the microphone, put over Fuerza. Everybody got a chance to sort of cheer him and cheer the good guy that he actually is. And I got a chance to talk to him after the fact. He's the most chill, relaxed guy I've ever seen at a show.
Yeah, probably.
Got to congratulate him for winning the X Division title on his debut, and that's been fantastic as well. But yeah, no, TNA. I hate to say it like this. TNA. I'd rather watch TNA than AEW, because TNA isn't trying to be anything it's not. AEW's trying to be WWE and failing kind of on a massive level. And they think they're bigger than they are. TNA knows exactly where they are. And that's not a derogatory thing. I think that's awesome. I think they are getting slowly getting bigger crowds, etc. But I don't think there's any. There's bravado, because obviously they're putting on great matches and they're very proud of what they do, but there's no false bravado, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Everything has a reason and a rhyme, but, it fits. Absolutely.
And plus, you throw Josh Alexander on a card, I'm going to watch, because the dude is a fucking machine. And his wife is the announcer, and she's actually pretty cool. I've had a chance to meet her as well. So, come for the wrestling, stay for the announcer. That didn't sound right at all. So yeah, we've already talked for quite a long time, and we've only talked about SmackDown. Switching over to the actual WrestleMania card, and Wikipedia actually has it separated out onto days for me, which is nice.
Absolutely. Rarity that happens.
Okay, apparently per Becky Lynch's request, Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley is opening night 1.
I've heard that as well, and I think that's going to be awesome.
I think it's awesome, and I think it's kind of cool for somebody who's main evented WrestleMania to be like, I've never opened it. Can I open it?
You know what? Supposedly Seth had said that one of his highlights, he didn't like the match, but he liked opening Mania.
Yeah.
So he said that, he mentioned that to Becky, and that kind of had its, way to work in.
Because they don't do matches on the kickoff, or at least they haven't announced any as of yet, we're not going to get a drop of like 5 the day of the show like some other cocaine heads would do. But if they maintain that, and I think they should, Rhea and Becky are going to get the we haven't had WrestleMania since last WrestleMania pop.
That's true. WrestleMania pops are always next level.
Okay, the first of several times that I'm going to say this, I don't care either way who wins this. I'm equally Rhea Ripley shouldn't lose right now, and Becky Lynch has had a hell of a year. Including what she did in NXT for Tiffany and Lyra Valkyria and people like that.
Yeah.
I do think Rhea wins. Rhea Ripley fucking star.
Yeah. Like I said, she's one of the top ones right now. I really think that she's going to go ahead and absolutely retain. She's on another level. I think they're going to have her be the top star for a while.
I know they're on different shows at the moment, but Triple H has a Rhea Ripley Jade Cargill match in his back pocket.
Yeah, that's always one. Because, the fact that they have Jade doing the Race Wars match.
Oh, we're going to get there.
That's
amusing. We are going to get there.
It gets Bianca Belair getting her kind of like hat in the mix as well. And that's insulting for her, I think, too, because for many years now she's had the best, if not one of the best matches at Mania.
Oh, yeah.
And now they just stick her in a multi-woman 6-person match, and it just very rushed, very... just like I said, lackluster and disappointing, unfortunately. I like Jade's entrance. I like what they did with her. I like what they had in mind for her. Storm is coming. That entrance was incredible, especially to see live. But, like we said, when we get to that match, it's just...
Yeah. When we get to that match, I think there's a way that you get a win here, but I really do think they set up a no-win situation. We will get there. I'm kind of trying to go in order, because this is the suggested order of the card, as far as I know. Really awkward one from... Okay, first of all, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch. You.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Rhea's going to retain. She's going to keep it for quite a long time.
Becky Lynch is going to make her look like $1 million.
Absolutely, and then Becky's going to take off for quite some time.
Oh, is that true? I haven't heard.
I don't know if that's necessarily.
I would assume, and this is getting into stuff later on. I would assume that Seth Rollins is taking some time off to heal from injuries and whatnot, and I have to imagine if that's the case, she would want to be there for him at least in some regard. But on the other side of the coin, I could see her having the attitude of, well, if you can't be there and be part of the Shazam, so to speak, at least I can, and we can send you good wishes and whatever. I could see either attitude being positive, honestly. Like, I could see her wanting him to go home and rest so that she can go out on TV and say, hey, honey, get well soon. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, there's nothing wrong with that either. I could see both sides of the coin. I do think if she puts Rhea over, like, this is a sequence of Charlotte did everything to put her over last year. I know you're not supposed to say anything nice about Charlotte because she's white and blonde and has an unpopular dad, but Charlotte made her look like $1 million last year. Becky makes her look like $1 million this year. If the Bayley face turn stays, by next WrestleMania, do we have Rhea Ripley Bayley? I would love to see that.
I would love to see that, and that has a lot to be, offered to the fans. So we'll see what happens.
I think if they get Bayley right again, you do Rhea Bayley next year, I think that's one of the main events.
I really do as well. And they certainly could keep Rhea, booked strong and as a champ until then.
Yeah. Awkward one for me because I kind of have to go with backwards logic on this one. We got the Intercontinental Championship, Gunther versus Sami Zayn. I want to get your thoughts first on this.
Yeah, a lot of people are upset that it is Sami Zayn.
Yep.
And I kind of don't blame them. I would have liked to have seen Chad Gable get this instead. I mean, this kind of feels like, hey, Sammy, you worked really hard for the last few years, so we're going to throw this to you to go ahead and have something. And because it doesn't really feel like he had a feud. It made sense for Chad. He had 2 losses. He was trying to come back and be the ultimate underdog. Now Sammy kind of just gets injected into the storyline. Gunther, he's on a hell of a winning streak, but do they want to have somebody else continue a streak? We're going to have this be the WrestleMania of streaks continuing. That's possible. Let's see. I really think that we're going to have Gunther retain here. I don't think he's losing yet.
I do too, for a very different reason that I'll get into in a second, but I do want to take a chance to really shout out WWE because I think they achieved something on Raw a couple of weeks ago that I don't even think they intended to do. You got to the end of that match, and it was Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable, right? And I think, from a match perspective, I think people would have been happy with either match. Like, Gunther Gable, again, would have been awesome. Gunther Sami, I'm assuming, will be an awesome match. But you got down to 2 guys where there's a big portion of the audience that would have been bummed if Sami Zayn lost, and there's a big portion of the population who are bummed that Gable lost. That means they're invested in both of them.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have we had, like, nobody to cheer for, and you went into that gauntlet, and yeah, the gauntlets, you could maybe say that the gauntlets are overdone. I would take that argument. But, like, you put a gauntlet together where multiple baby faces would have been fine. Multiple baby faces are getting sympathy because they didn't get to the pay window. WWE's done a lot in that regard to get the fans to that point where we would have been okay with a couple of different results and we would have been disappointed with a couple of different results. I think as a snapshot,
right.
As a snapshot of the mid-card in general, I think that's a big success story right there. I get the Gable thing, and I do think Gable is going to be the one to unseat him. My reasoning, though, and this is a more broad scope thing, Gunther and Sami Zayn are 2 guys that people want to see in the world title scene.
Yeah.
Neither one of them are there right now.
No.
If Sami Zayn loses and we sort of circumvent and get him to the title window, of the main title window, then that's fine. If Gunther loses to Sami and he goes up to the main world title situation, then okay, cool, he lost upwards. That's fine. If Sami Zayn loses and goes to the world title, that's awesome. But for the Sami Zayn fans, if you put the IC title on him right now, you're telling everybody, okay, it's going to be even longer until he gets to that echelon then.
That's the thing. Like, do people stay interested for that long?
Yeah.
How long does it hold out for?
Because if you want to put an Intercontinental Championship on Sami Zayn, he has to measure up to the big reign that Gunther just had. So he has to have it for a long time. So for Sami, I think the IC title would almost be a noose around his neck. As bad as that is to say, because Gunther's made that title awesome again. But you have to have a worthy successor, and a worthy successor would have to have a good reign in their own right. And for Sami Zayn to get the IC title now is just an indicator, yeah, he's not going to be in the world title mix anytime soon. Whereas Gunther retaining kind of says the same thing, but at least he's already doing something historic.
True.
So I'm going to say Gunther for the benefit of Sami Zayn. Now, the two things that are gonna come off the back end of this, and we're looking past WrestleMania now. Either Gable gets a rematch and he finally gets the win over the Giant, or there's somebody on another brand that's about to drop a title, I think, who has history with Gunther, who has history with making awesome matches with Gunther. Ilya Dragunov is apparently the next one to get a Gunther-style push on the main roster. And if you can get those guys at the level that they were in the BT Sports Studio over in the UK with zero crowd, and everybody still goes back and watches that match, you've got an Intercontinental Championship feud for the ages, if and when they choose to pull the trigger on that.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
I like Dragunov a lot. He's gonna be weird. He's gonna be weird and wacky on the main roster, and it's gonna be awesome.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. You know that he is absolutely gonna deliver, and again, no pun intended. It's just again and again.
I also kind of think that Dragunov versus Sami Zayn would be a really fun match. Dragunov versus anybody, because I think I said this in a pod previously. Like, Dragunov doesn't have Dragunov matches. Dragunov adds a Dragunov element to whatever another person's match type is. Like, if Undertaker was having a casket match, now we've added a Dragunov element to the casket match.
Yeah,
that would be a lot of fun, actually. So I'm going Gunther. You're going Gunther.
Yeah, I'm saying Gunther retains, absolutely.
Okay. Probably one of the matches I'm looking most forward to, the six-pack tag team ladder match for both SmackDown and Raw tag team championships. The Judgment Day, DIY, The Awesome Truth, New Day, A-Town Down Under, and the New Catch Republic.
And I was really very confused on this because I both do and do not want them to unify the titles. So my heart split both ways. But so they're definitely splitting the titles. It's just you have to grab one of each.
I think they can do a really, really dickhead Judgment Day thing if Judgment Day win. And I don't think they are going to. I think Judgment Day pulling down all four belts, because it's no disqualification, right? And Judgment Day has multiple members. If they just get enough help in there that they grab all four belts, and then they can say, I've taken the chance away from two different teams to go out and experience championshipness. I think there's a really dickheaded swerve thing that they can do here. Don't think that's going to happen, though. I think one team's going to grab one belt, one team's going to grab the other belt. I think we're going to get a moment in this match where R-Truth goes up there and he gets confused and he grabs like one red belt and one blue belt, and Miz is like, what the fuck are you doing? There's a lot of things. I've said I wouldn't mind Awesome Truth winning. I just think that a lot of fans that are a lot harsher on WWE, that don't necessarily like nostalgia, that never give Miz the credit that he deserves, they're going to find 7 or 8 different ways to pick that apart. DIY finally having a WrestleMania match, and especially a match like this, is awesome. So, personally, am I pulling for DIY? Yeah. A-Town Down Under is a lot of fun. There's a rumor about them that I'm going to get to in a second.
Yeah.
But also, New Catch Republic would be an interesting team to put gold on, just because Tyler Bate just came up and Pete Dunne has kind of had an identity crisis. He's gone from like group to group and sort of been finding himself all over again.
Yeah.
So I think if you give them one set, and on the other side of the coin for Raw, I would say give it to DIY. I think as a third or fourth choice down the road, Austin Theory, Grayson Waller would be a great dickhead team to be later taken out by Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, for example.
Yeah.
I'm going to, if the belts do get split, and if one team doesn't just go up there and grab all 4 belts, I'm going to go DIY and A-Town Down Under. But actually, you know what? I'll get your prediction first, and then I'll throw in the but.
All right. I think honestly that we're going to see Awesome Truth go ahead and capture the titles. I think they're going to give them a Mania moment. These guys have been there for ages. I think they're going to try and honor our Truth a bit here. I think they're going for a sentimental easy pop here.
Okay. So they would grab one or both?
I think they would take both titles.
Okay.
Because they can go on both shows, and they'll each grab one set.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. If not, on the SmackDown side, New Catch Republic or A-Town Down Under? Because they're the only ones from SmackDown.
Yeah. I could see them grabbing one set also from, Miz and R-Truth get one, and Austin Theory and Grayson Waller get the other. But honestly, I think I'm going to stay with Awesome Truth grabbing both.
There's a really boring thing to say here as well, as I just correct what I said a second ago. They could use this as an opportunity to just move a team from one show to the other, like have DIY grab the SmackDown titles as their way of saying, hey, DIY is moving to SmackDown. Like they might use it as a tool like that, as well as a storytelling beat. I don't think they necessarily will, but it's one of those ways that they get around, oh, we're not just doing another draft or another superstar shakeup. They had to go to SmackDown. They have the SmackDown titles, even though that's never been the case. Now, there's a rumor going around, and I want to know what you think about this rumor, because if it happens, I'm going to pop my fucking nuts off. There's a rumor that before this match happens, A-Town Down Under are going to be taken out in the back by a backstage attack and replaced at the last minute by a team that just recently hit the free agent market. And if we get a last-minute addition in this match of the Motor City Machine Guns, that's all I'm going to talk about.
People say that they're going to AEW, but I'm not sold that they definitely are.
I don't know. If they go to AEW, whatever. AEW,
what do they get there?
AEW.
They get 1 week of a big pop, maybe 2, and then that's it.
But not even that though. Like I'm thinking on a more like personal level. Like AEW, like quote unquote, worked with TNA for a bit there. Did that benefit TNA at all?
No, sadly.
And sorry, Sabin and Shelley have been all over the world, but like they're TNA guys. Like, they saw their company's title get hijacked to be, like, one of the toys around Kenny Omega's waist. Not even necessarily taking a dig at Kenny Omega specifically here, but in that belt collector story that he did that I thought was a bit obnoxious, surprise, surprise, it was, like, the 3rd or 4th belt around his waist, and I was just like, if I'm working in TNA, like, that would piss me off.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, it's not like now where I really want to see some TNA WWE crossover, because I do need to have that Rhea Ripley Jordynne Grace match at some point, like champion versus champion. I think that would be a lot of fun. That
would be great.
I think it would be a really cool thing to sort of like break the stereotype about WWE if WWE sent Rhea Ripley to TNA for one of their shows to say, okay, our champion versus your champion. I think that would be really cool. I don't know if it'll necessarily happen. Another topic we're going to cover on another day, but Shayna Baszler did Bloodsport today. I haven't seen any of it. I know CM Punk was there, and that wound a bunch of people up. But, I mean, Shayna Baszler was at Bloodsport taking on Masha Slamovich, who is another person. If my opinion means anything to you guys, check out Masha Slamovich. She's awesome. I've met her. She's not nearly as psycho as she appears in the ring. She's actually a sweetheart, which is breaking kayfabe entirely. But, if the Motor City Machine Guns are there, give them the Raw titles.
Yeah,
and
I could see them it being like a Hardy reaction, that massive pop.
Yeah.
Especially with the Mania crowd, they would go nuts.
Give me a best of 7 with the Motor City Machine Guns and DIY. That'd be a lot
Yeah,
of
that
fun.
would be incredible.
But I mean,
I still have a soft spot for DIY. You know, the original NXT Gold tag team. You know that I most got involved in. So.
And I mean, it would be cool. Like, it is their WrestleMania debut. I think they've been in the Andre Battle Royals before, but fuck that. That doesn't count. So either of the SmackDown teams grab the SmackDown titles. DIY gets the Raw titles. They get to do it at Mania. Happy times all around. Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso.
I wanna feel more from this match. Yeah. And again, I feel like they had the total hype and all the like oomph and jazz needed to really have a hot feud with these two back at SummerSlam. Yep. And it's like, how are they going to keep each other cooled off until Mania? Well, they kept them away from each other in a realistic way. They did, and unfortunately, this is what we got. We already saw them kind of face off in the Survivor Series War Games match. Mm-hmm. Or was it Survivor Series CM Punk?
And the Rumble.
And then we got to see them again, after, not long after, open up the Rumble. So now
here's where I'm gonna draw the distinctions here, and I'm drawing very fine lines. I'm aware. I'm really into the bloodline thing, so I really don't care.
I'm happy for you too, because I want to be more into this. I just can't get my.
We're gonna talk about the match that I really, really wish I was into later, and that I really want to be into later. But here's my deal, right? If you're fighting at War Games because you happen to be on one team and you happen to be on the other team, that's fine. If you're in the Rumble and you both happen to be in the ring and that's why you're fighting, that's fine. It is an entirely different story. Yes, I'm splitting hairs. To stand across the ring from somebody and say, I want to fight you. Not because we both happen to be in. My thing is, and this is headcanon, this is not necessarily something that they've played up to. I kind of like the fact that it just recently popped off now, because if you're Jimmy and you're being gaslit by Roman and The Rock and Heyman and everybody else, then what do? You bide your time, you stay on SmackDown, you let your brother think that he's gotten away with leaving the family and starting a new life, and you yank it away from him the minute he's about to reach a singles title goal. You let him think he's free, and then remind him that he's not. But you have to have a whole lot of empty time letting him think that he's free, and letting the fans think that he's free. So the fact that they haven't interacted very much, the way I'm looking at the match, that supports it. But again, I'm saying that's a lot in my own head. I think the match is going to be great. It is one of those ones, and I always use the cheesy example of Miz and Maurice versus Nikki Bella and John Cena, where it was just like, they both got to be in a match, they both got to have their partners there at the time, it was a good time for everybody. It doesn't matter that it wasn't that great, whatever the case may be. We've been hearing the Usos say for years, we want to fight each other at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Even before they had a reason to. So
that's for sure. The brothers fighting with it. Yeah, it's been that way for a while.
And it's something that they've both wanted. They've said it in interviews. They've said it together in interviews. So it is one of those ones where I am a bit of a softie, and I'm like, even if the match sucks, which I don't think it will, by the way, I'm still happy for them, and I'm still happy to have it happen on my screen. Like it gets a pass from me in that regard.
Jay wins. I mean, it's going to be a good match, but I hope there's more of a story to this in the end, and it's not just a simple, silly cliffhanger.
I do have an idea of how this match will affect things later on, but I'm going to get into that later on. Jay wins. I don't think there's any explanation for why Jimmy should win.
Yeah, no. Jay, main event, Jay's got to win.
Yeah.
Has to happen.
Like, Jey Uso is the one that tried to be strong enough to go out on his own. Jey Uso is the one that's been surrounded by positive people that have supported him going out on his own. Jimmy Uso is the one that still feels like he needs to be in the bloodline. So
yeah, no kidding.
And I don't think I don't know how to say this. I don't think a win would help Jimmy. Like, there's no storyline moving forward where Jimmy even benefits from winning. because he's still part of a group anyway. Like, it's not like a singles victory for him right now. It would make more sense if him and Solo decided to go for the tag titles. Like, that kind of thing. Like, he hasn't become that singles guy like Jay has. And you need to have one that hasn't, so that the one that has can be seen as having this great accomplishment. But yeah, Jay wins.
Yeah. There's no way around it. Jay has to win. End of story.
The United Nations match: Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi versus Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. Before we talk about the match,
honorary Asian Dakota Kai.
Oh my god. Hey, give the Kiwis some credit. Can I say something before we talk about this match? This match should be 2 matches. Jade Cargill versus Dakota Kai should be a singles exhibition match. Dakota Kai can give her a decent match. She can lose without really getting hurt that much. Jade Cargill can stand on her own. Jade Cargill has arrived. The other 2 going for Asuka and Kairi Sane would at least make it look like WWE gave a shit about those titles.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm not an idiot. There's no way Damage Control are winning this. Damage Control are losing, and
there's no way they're having Jade lose her first match.
Well, there's no way they're going to have Jade lose. There's no way they're going to have Naomi lose, and there's no way they're going to have Bianca Belair lose. Because if Jade gets pinned, well, she never should have left AEW. If Naomi gets pinned, well, this is why she left. She should have stayed in TNA. And Bianca Belair and her fans think that WWE owes her a streak.
You think so?
All the people that have suddenly found it really, really trendy to hate The Undertaker and have been telling me for the past 5 years that suddenly streaks are bad and streaks bury people, etc., think that Bianca Belair is owed a streak.
You know,
I can't. Jake, I can't with these people.
I know.
I've had a very long day. I'm on my second drink. This is not the time.
No, I don't know how to verbalize the idiotic necessity that people place onto numbers and the importance they hold. You know, and going ahead and just saying that, you know, she needs a streak because
I don't. And see, the thing is, like, if they did give her a streak, I wouldn't care really, because it's like, okay, Undertaker had one, Goldberg had one, Asuka had one. Goldberg doesn't like Asuka. It's fine. If they wanted to give her a streak, cool, fine, whatever. But it's the whole like, well, she should have a streak because she deserves one. Why? Because she hasn't been handed enough already? Let's be real for a second. Like, she got to main event with Sasha, and they had the commentators all through the match talk about how great it was that they weren't white. I'm sorry, but they did. That's not their fault. That's WWE's fault. Let me be clear.
Exactly.
Before people come at me in the comment section, Sasha Banks fans can fuck off as well.
But see, I like Bianca. I just don't like her attitude most times is just not good at all. It doesn't fit. You know, when she loses,
she is a heel.
She's got to go around and have that happy-go-lucky attitude, and you're like, why? What is going on here?
But here's the thing, though. Everything about her screams heel, except for the commentators telling you that she's a babyface and her opponents being heels. She's obnoxious. She brings a weapon to the ring every match. Can we talk about this for a second?
Her hair should be...
She's the only person in WWE that's allowed to have a weapon in her hand. I don't care that it's attached to her head. I don't. Y'all can fuck off. She's the only person in WWE that's allowed to bring a weapon to the ring in a regular match. I mean, I'm never, ever going to have sympathy for Sasha Banks, because she can fuck off as well. She's got her own locker room. Isn't that special? Fuck off. But, like, she had a cut across her stomach from getting whipped by Bianca Belair.
Exactly.
Like, everybody needs to fuck off. Sorry, you guys are getting me at the end of a really long day, but this needs to fuck off.
How that was not considered a weapon is beyond me, but...
Everybody's like, oh, well, it's like your attire. Like, you kick people with shoes on. And I'm like, yeah, but if I took my shoe off and hit somebody with it, I'd get disqualified. Fuck off. Jake, these people need to fuck off. They really do. I need to get off this match or I'm going to go on a tangent.
Well, you know Jade's winning, so we can move on.
I mean, here's the thing: Jade Cargill could go in there and have a hell of a showing, and I think they're still going to give the pin to Bianca. Dakota Kai is in this match to eat a pin, which sucks because she just got back from
she's not the women's tag champ, obviously.
And I get that, and that part makes sense. I appreciate that, but she's worked however hard on rehab to get back from her injury to come to WrestleMania to be the pin eater,
which is very unfortunate.
I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing. Here's another one for you. Here's one that I'm going to have a lot of fun with. Tag team match. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee taking on Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. I like this because we're recycling the Mysterio story to give Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee a platform. And I think that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's giving them a chance to be...
I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And I like seeing them both have a chance to have a spotlight at Mania. And the way that they have kept Dominic in top heel... Yeah, they kept them apart and kept them in top heel form so far.
But you know what it is, though? It's like Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch didn't really have a story, but they've encountered each other so many times, and they just let the fans respond. Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio have given each other little nods in promos and bumped into each other backstage and stuff like that. And I mean, Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio came down to NXT to be in Dragon Lee's corner when Dragon Lee was facing Dirty Dom for the North American Championship. So it's all existing story. People are looking at this like it was a match that was thrown together last week. It's really not. It was made official.
Yeah.
This week. But I am looking forward to this match. Santos is awesome. Dragon Lee is awesome. It's really cool to see them getting a more prominent spot. I think it's kind of cool that they're sort of clarifying what Dragon Lee's role is, because he was bouncing between SmackDown and NXT for quite a bit there. Honestly, I think it's going to be a cool chance for Dominic Mysterio as well, because he's not, 5 stars in the Tokyo Dome, but he's a lot better than people give him credit for, I think. And I mean bell to bell. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And Ray is Ray. It's fine. You've got the two...
Ray could walk out there and get pinned in 3 seconds Sheamus, Daniel Bryan, and people would still cheer for him come Monday. He has the legend status. He doesn't need...
And he's a still active Hall of Famer. I mean, it's like him and Edge, when Edge isn't crying for standing up for AEW.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, I do like this. I do think the babyfaces are going to win. It's a pretty simple, happy, feel good, the masks get the win type thing. I do think we're getting...
I think Ray's going to lose. See, that's why I'm in the opposite agreement.
Really?
Yeah, I think Ray loses again at WrestleMania. They give the win to Santos Escobar, even though they want to push Dragon Lee. I'm being a bit of an opposite, opposition here, but yeah, I do think that we could see a heel win.
Okay. My next thought on this was going to be, because we knew that LWO and Legado were going to do something at WrestleMania. Yes. When they announced that Dragon Lee was part of the LWO on SmackDown, it didn't really hit me that hard because I thought he already was. So
I thought so as well.
That kind of he was associated with them, I guess. I do think where's Backlash is the one that's in France, right?
Yeah,
I think on the back of this, I think you're going to get the big schmoz that I thought we were going to get at WrestleMania, and it's going to be everybody. It's going to be, what is it? Ray, Cruz, Joaquin, I don't know, Bad Bunny, Carlito, Dragon Lee, Zelina Vega taking on Santos, Dom, Humberto, Angel, Andrade. Andrade probably gets thrown somewhere in the mix there.
I think he's definitely going to get added in there.
Elektra Lopez gets in there as well. I'm not going to lie. When they announced the big ladder match, right, I thought that's going to be your pile of people match for night one, and all of Legado versus all of LWO would be your big pile of people match for night two. We got a tag match out of it instead. That's a little bit clearer. I'm going to keep saying what I've already been saying. We're using the Dominic and Ray story to platform Santos and Dragon Lee. I think that's awesome. I think it's clever. I think you've got Ray and Dom in there to get people interested in two other guys that they might not necessarily be as familiar with. And I think that's fucking awesome. As a promotional tool, This is 5 stars.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I think we get the feel-good mask win moment, and you think the opposite. Wow.
I think we're not going to get the feel-good moment here.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's with a Gunther win too. So.
Yeah, but people like Gunther. He's like way too cool to be considered like an actual heel. Gunther, when he's by himself, I know we're going back in matches now, but Gunther when he's by himself is pretty much over. When he gets booed and when people get sick of him is when the other two show up, which is really bad for them because I would rather see Gunther or I would rather see all 3 of them in a trios match than just see Giovanni and Ludwig in a tag match, because when they're just out there as a tag team, they're starting to give off that bland feeling that they gave in NXT, and I don't want to say that because they're great wrestlers, but...
Yeah, they are, but they just don't have...
They're not on the card.
Yeah, nothing interesting right now, and that's not their fault entirely.
Okay. Night 1, main event. Let the bullshit begin.
Yes.
The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins.
And what a tag match it is.
Yep.
The build-up, the conference, all of it. You know, the press conference was out of this park.
They sold out an arena for a press conference. Can I just stop and say that for a second?
I mean, you're not wrong.
That's awesome. Now, I will say, before they put the stipulation on it, when it was just a tag match for tag match's sake, my argument was that Seth Rollins needed to pin The Rock. Because you want Cody and Roman to be as even as they possibly can going into night 2, which means Cody can't have a win or a loss, Roman can't have a win or a loss. The Rock losing a pin won't hurt him at all. And, spoiler, Seth's losing on night 2. So he at least gets a cool moment of, hey, I'm the one that pinned The Rock. But then they put the stipulation on there. And they don't give you the possibility of bloodline rules, absolutely everything thrown at the wall, and then not give it to you. This isn't Vince.
No.
So it's probably the most predictable match on the card. Bloodline win, night 1. Rock, can we just say, Rock's been in form. Rock has absolutely been in form since he's been a weekly character back on WWE.
Since he's been a heel, he has been just so damn good.
I think it's hysterical that The Rock is technically Triple H's boss.
Yeah, he's just been...
I advocated for years, up until when we found out about Triple H's health stuff when he was in the same hospital as you. I advocated for years, give me one more round of The Rock versus Triple H, because they have such a dense history. And now the fact that The Rock is his boss is kind of hilarious. That's not a dig at Triple H, it just kind of is.
No, and you're not wrong. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we've seen so much so far.
And can I say, we'll touch on it quickly, because I know we've got a whole second night to rattle through. Everybody out there saying right now, well, yeah, of course The Rock's over. He gets to do blood stuff, and he gets to swear, and he doesn't have to go under the same constraints as my favorite guy, XYZ. Of course he doesn't. Yeah, because he's the fucking Rock. It's not that hard.
The Rock, I think, is going to win.
You think The Rock's pinning...
I think The Rock and Roman are going to win. I think The Rock pins Seth. I think we're going to do it opposite of you here.
Okay. Well, again, I say my initial thought was without the stipulation in place, and then they put the stipulation in place, and whatever it is, what it is. But okay, I just have to say this. They did the Rock promo from a couple weeks ago, and then the very next thing on the show was Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi.
Yes.
And they came back from commercial, and Naomi was already in the ring. Naomi's new entrance sucks, by the way.
Yeah,
not a dig
like
at her.
The old glow one.
Not a dig at her. Let me be fucking clear. But her new entrance, I liked her old music. Even when I didn't like her, I liked her old music. It was kind of infectious. Yes, for me, it was like a little bit of a Hardy Boys vibe without being a ripoff.
Yeah.
Her new entrance sucks. Oh my god, look at the fucking disrespect. We bring in The Rock and now Naomi loses her entrance. It's the fucking Rock! I'm sorry. You could be Naomi's biggest fan. And I know she has a lot of fans. I know she's got a lot of following. I've gotten a lot of response from the Naomi and Sasha walkout stuff that we talked about. Not recently, but further back in the day. I get it. She has a following. She's probably a sweetheart. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. She's probably a sweetheart. But if you have a problem with me saying Naomi isn't the fucking Rock, go watch My Little Pony. Exactly. I didn't even have a good way to end that sentence. The Rock gets to do shit because he's The Rock. Yes. And The Rock is the boss. And yes, I'm sorry, for the people that hate people for being successful, you do get to do more when you're the boss. Your boss is your boss. My boss is my boss. Jake, these people, I can't.
That's why I'm telling you. I'm saying The Rock's winning.
Yep.
And we're going to get the triumphant resurgence of Team Cody Night 2 because of it. But we'll get to that.
We will get to that because there's all kinds of stuff. I have an idea that nobody's going to like. That nobody is going to like. Excuse me. So, Night 2, presumably the opening match, I guess. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. Seth's losing. I'm almost predicting at this point that they kayfabe Seth Rollins an injury in the tag match to make him easy pickings for Drew McIntyre.
Okay. I think that really makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
I think that's why I see him losing. You know, Seth's going to get the crap kicked out of him, and that's going to be Drew's end because his knees hurt, his back's hurt, and he's going to say all you had to do was not get involved in Cody's BS, and you just go ahead and, my God, go and, you know, stick to us. You could have had a chance. You maybe could have beat me, but now you're damaged goods, and it's just going to be a slaughter.
I do have to give these guys respect in one regard. Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, as far as the build, as far as like trying to promote this match as a match, this is the most impossible match to get invested in. And this is the one big nitpick I've had about WWE in the entire WrestleMania build, other than the United Nations match we talked about on night 1. This is an impossible match. Because, and I said this in my other pod a couple of days ago, this is the match that nobody cares about, not even the people in it. Drew McIntyre has been tasked with keeping CM Punk in the back of everybody's mind, so every promo he does is half Punk, half Seth. The other half of the promos have been, hey, the last time I had a title match, it was in front of nobody, and I need to get revenge on that. That's a good story. But that has been cut in half, with the other half being him keeping CM Punk in his mouth. Now, that's going to be a cool story when CM Punk comes back, don't get me wrong. Seth, on the other side of the coin, is the fourth character in Cody's story on night 1.
And that's really it.
And that's really it. So Seth is worried about the bloodline. Drew is worried about CM Punk, who's going to be on commentary. And I'm sorry, he's not on commentary just to be on commentary. He's going to rip the arm brace off or something. There's going to be some, like, dramatic Bret Hart takes the leg cast off moment, and that's going to be a thing. But Seth has been worried about the bloodline. Drew McIntyre has been worried about CM Punk, which is unfortunate because Seth has done his damnedest to make the title that he's wearing mean something. And here's where I'm going to say, I'm not saying you have to agree with me, and Jake, I don't really know what your thoughts are on the matter either. There are some fans out there that are just determined to shit on this title.
Yeah, no, that's certainly true.
There are. And it's like, okay, it's a brand new title. They have to show us that it means something. But you put it on somebody like Seth Rollins, who takes a new belt with no personality as a challenge to make it worth something. And, you know, bust his ass and, like, how much of it is real, how much of it is kayfabe, you know, fight injured, fight often, fight like the champion on the other brand isn't. Like, they picked the perfect person to try and like breathe life into a new title with Seth Rollins. And I think all of that effort is getting lost in the shuffle because nobody cares about the title. Nobody cares about the title match, including the people in it, because the people in it are worried about other people. This is an impossible match to promote. So the fact that they've managed to do it at all, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, I'm taking my hat off to both of them.
Yeah, exactly.
But Seth Rollins is losing. So
Seth has to be losing, so. And I think that's going to be the opener of night 2.
Okay. You think Drew McIntyre, I'm pretty sure I know the answer here. Drew McIntyre holds that title to Clash at the Castle, which is now taking place actually in Scotland.
Glasgow. Yeah, they're going to be in Scotland.
Yeah. Not Drew McIntyre's other home country of Wales.
Yeah.
Which was terrible. I don't know. It's really weird, but I almost applaud them. I almost applaud these two guys for just trying to drag it over the line. Because the match that everybody's thinking about for Seth Rollins will have happened immediately the night before. And like I say, people are going to be paying attention to that guy on commentary.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They're going to be waiting for him to interfere somehow.
Yep. And I think it would be an awesome troll if somebody else that's had a problem with Drew McIntyre comes to fuck with it instead, and CM Punk just sits back and smiles and says, "Hey man, I'm just here to do commentary. I'm just here to call the match. I'm just here, MMA. I couldn't MMA, so I called those, and now I can't wrestle because clearly I have this cast on that isn't also a weapon at all." Io Sky,
it's almost as bright as freezing your legs in dry ice and trying to get an insurance scam out of it. Everybody's got some bright idea.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens here, but like you said,
Io Sky Bayley, I don't have a whole lot to say other than
it's a pretty easy, straightforward story. Bayley got betrayed. She started the group. They kicked her out. She won the Rumble. Now she gets her revenge.
Yeah. I get what people are saying, though, is it's a lot to ask for Bayley to come out and say, I'm suddenly babyface again. Forget about all that bad shit that I did. I take that criticism, but I don't care.
But I like what they're doing with it. They didn't actually have her instantly be like, oh, I'm a good guy, and everyone just adored her. The other stars were like, yeah, we don't just forget about what she did. I wanted to win. Congratulations. But there's still a lot we have to get through, and Bayley is still working on redeeming herself.
Here's the problem, and I'm going to go back to Bianca Belair. And this is, okay, let me be clear. This is not her fault. But the role they have Bianca Belair playing right now, she's kind of doing with Bayley what Drew McIntyre did with Jey Uso. As the whole, like, you can't just decide you're a good person, now I remember what you did. But the problem is, Drew McIntyre's already done that. And it feels like a repeat. And I hope they can shake that off and turn it into something. But right now, that feels like a repeat. I have a feeling that with the powerhouses that are facing them the day before, I don't think Damage Control, the rest of them, are a factor in this match. I think they'll be somehow negated in the match that they have the night before. I think this will be a one-on-one match because Io Sky being in a faction still needs a match where she can show, like, I'm fucking Io Sky, that's why I'm the champion. Even if she loses, she still needs to have a show-out, like, solo performance, and I think she will. Bayley's never been at this position at a WrestleMania where she was followable and supportable and believable to win. So it's not a debut for Bayley, but it's kind of a debut for Bayley in this type of situation, and I think it's going to be probably the feel-good moment of night 2. As I said, I think Rey and Dragon are winning on night 1, and that'll just be a feel-good thing. I think Bayley... I mean, I know you don't agree with me, but in my scenario, I think Bayley has that moment on night 2.
Yeah, I think she's going to have the feel-good moment that everyone's looking for. So.
All right. A match that basically exists because they were dumb enough to not put LA Knight on the card last year when they were in LA. LA Knight versus AJ Styles. I'm just happy to see LA Knight on the card. I'm happy to see AJ Styles back because he was gone for a while. AJ Styles has built himself up like a fucking machine. Hats off to him. I think the match will be fine. I think the fans in the arena will get to chant LA Knight, yeah, a lot. LA Knight wins. AJ Styles doesn't need to win because I don't know what AJ Styles is doing right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it, because they're both just totally aimless at this point, and they really just have no set feud, purpose, goal. So putting them against each other, you've got super pumped soccer mom hair having AJ, who is damn larger than life at this point in time. I'm telling you, he put on some mass. It's crazy to seeing him in person. It was nuts.
Well, he was gone for a while with an injury, right? Like, didn't they write him off with the bloodline beatdown and everything, which is fine. I mean, wrestlers deserve time off. Don't get me wrong in saying, like, oh, he hasn't been here, so who cares? Like, no, take your time. Come back at WrestleMania. That makes sense. But I just don't know what he's doing. With the breakup of the OC, it's kind of weird because AJ Styles left the OC. Michin has been doing like AJ Styles offense in her matches, like trying to get his attention, I think is the story. But also Gallows and Anderson have gone down to NXT, which is a really weird thing to see on your TV screen because they look bigger than the show. But it's all kind of scattered and not really committed to anything. I think if we get a whatever you want to call it, a draft, a shake-up, whatever, after Mania, I think they do something different with AJ Styles. AJ Styles, like, I know it's always weird to say because they're doing it a lot recently. AJ Styles can have a run in NXT. AJ Styles, Ilya Dragunov, AJ Styles.
There's so many matches AJ can have no matter where he goes. That's the thing. Like, he can always have good matches, but I'd want to see a reason have him.
There's all kinds of options, but we need to pick out a good one. LA Knight wins again. He's the big crowd interaction guy right now. I think it's a smart move, as much as I think we will see our return in the main event on night 2. I think the match that we know for a fact that The Rock is in, being on a different night than LA Knight, is a nice touch because of all the comparisons that LA Knight gets as, oh, you're just a Rock wannabe, you're just an Austin wannabe. I mean, if you're going to be accused of being a wannabe, those are two pretty good guys to draw from, I think. But I think spacing him out from that is a decent touch. Other than that, I wouldn't blame people in the arena or in the stadium for thinking that this is maybe the time to hit the shitter.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe.
Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens for the United States Championship. I'm going to go with Logan retaining. I was initially thinking, like, Randy Orton winning is the really boring answer. I don't really care out of Logan Paul and Kevin Owens, but I'm really leaning towards Logan Paul.
Yeah, neither one of them need the belt here as challengers. It doesn't do anything for either one of them. And it genuinely makes more sense for Logan Paul to hold the belt until SummerSlam, because he announced it's at his home, state of Cleveland, Ohio, so hometown, I should say. And so now Gunther's retaining, he's retaining, Io Sky's losing her belt, but do we see any other title changes? I don't know. It depends.
Rhea Becky, I think, is a toss-up. I don't think there's a bad option there.
No.
Gunther retaining is what we're both predicting, but I mean, Sami
could win.
Sami coming out on the other end would be a feel good. The tag titles, at least one of them, I think, is moving. It's a pretty good mix of keeping and tossing. I don't know. I do have something for Logan Paul. Like, whenever they're in the next, what's a show busy type town, like if they're near Hollywood or if they're in LA or if they're in New York or something like that. WWE has done a lot of good. Logan Paul's the prime example with celebrity involvement. Pat McAfee, Bad Bunny, Logan Paul, there's been a couple others. Sooner or later, because every time there's a celebrity involvement, it's like, oh, well, you put them with this really good wrestler or that really good wrestler, you set them up to succeed. At some point, WWE has to pull the trigger and make the unpopular move of having a proper wrestler celebrity versus another proper wrestler celebrity. So SummerSlam's in Cleveland, right? Isn't that what they announced? Cleveland is Logan Paul's hometown?
Yes.
or his home area, whatever.
Exactly.
So I want him to do something like that, like, hey, it takes somebody like me to come into WWE and bring my stardom with me to the WWE. They didn't make me a star. I brought my stardom to them. Nobody else can say that. And then he gets a face-to-face with Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
And we see what... I know people aren't going to like that because, oh, you're taking spots from people on the card that are actually on the roster. I understand that. I accept that criticism completely. But it'll be really interesting to see, okay, we've got these celebrities and we've turned them into wrestlers, but have you? Do a match where neither one of them is being carried, and I say that respectfully, Logan Paul, Bad Bunny, to see who the best celebrity is in the WWE is an interesting story. Don't build your pay-per-view around it, for God's sake. But, no, because that's a bit much. But I think it would be a really cool thing in one of their home, like either if they went back to Puerto Rico like they did with Backlash last year, or if they're doing it in Cleveland, Logan Paul's neck of the woods. Don't do it in the Suicide Forest. That would be bad.
No, not there. Wrong woods.
Let's not do that. Hey, his little brother's going to be on Netflix before he is. Isn't that neat? I don't know why I just thought of that.
And then he could knock out Mike Tyson on night 2, right? With
oh my
Jake?
God!
Oh no,
that's
his brother.
Send all the sensitive people on Twitter insane. Make the Paul brothers the tag champs. Oh my God! The Paul brothers versus DIY would be
now
amazing.
We're talking.
Either that or go the other way. Go a completely comedy-driven match. The Paul brothers, because one of them has history with The Miz. The Paul brothers versus the Awesome Truth. Do it. Do it up. I'm saying Logan Paul. Who are you saying?
I still say Logan Paul. Absolutely.
All right, so we're on the same page. Okay. I really, really, really wish I cared about this match. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits taking on Karrion Kross and AOP, also known as the Final Testament. I know you don't care about this match.
I know. Sadly, I want to care about this, but it's the bathroom break. I like Karrion Kross as well. Him having AOP on his side, though, I'm done with the faction thing for him, and it's just not working for me.
I want this to work. I want him to be the head of a big group that just kind of destroys people, but right now they look like a bunch of kids that got into their older brother's rock and roll collection. And that's super unfortunate, because I looked at AOP like that the first time that they were in NXT as well. Like, they're really good as henchmen. Before they left for a while, when they were Seth Rollins' henchmen, that worked great. I really want something to work for Karrion Kross, because we talked about it the last time when we did the State of Wrestling. His finisher is kind of like the finisher that will be good when it figures itself out. Karrion Kross as a character, to me, still feels like he'll be good when he figures it out. There's a response that he did. I don't know where it is. It's in like some back room. He put it up on Instagram, and it's basically his response to Nick Aldis announcing this match, because it was announced on X. And the promo he cuts down the lens in this small room wherever he is better than anything he's said on TV.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, put that shit out there. Like, The Rock takes to Twitter and Instagram because he can swear and it won't be censored. That's fine. But other people do really good shit on social media. And I think, not that the WWE production team doesn't use the social media, but they don't pick the right bits, because it's almost too good. In a sense, like, the only way I would explain it is if the production people are worried that what they're producing on the show isn't as good as what these guys are doing on Instagram. Because otherwise, why aren't you these are people going like above them, like everything Drew McIntyre, to go back to him, has done social media wise to keep CM Punk in the conversation, going to Chicago and visiting Mindy's Bakery.
Yeah, get himself some muffins to have at another press conference.
But they're closed on Monday, and now I'm heartbroken.
Oh, better be stopping tonight.
Here's the thing. Not as a group, but individually, Bobby Lashley is over. The Street Profits are over. People like them. They tried to make them heel for 5 seconds, and the audience said no. But they're already over. I want Karrion Kross to have something. I am once again asking you to give Karrion Kross something. Because the match doesn't matter either way, just please give it to Karrion Kross. Yeah. Like, they've got 2 people in their corner. Bobby Lashley's team has 1 person in their corner. Make it a numbers game thing. Have B-Fab kick Paul Ellering in the nuts. I really don't care.
They always liked having, some heat go over at Mania, though. You know, Vince always liked that, and it's one of the things I feel like still lives.
But if they give him a good, the very first time I saw him, I know we have to go to the last match. I'm keeping an eye on the clock. But the very first time I saw him walk out on NXT, there was no people there. It was in the middle of the fucking pandemic, and the first thing I thought was like, when this happens in front of crowds, this is going to be fucking awesome. They presented him better in the pandemic than they are presenting him now. Do you know how much I'm choking on those words right now?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
But yeah, I just like Karrion Kross, and I wish they would treat him better. He's only doing slightly worse than Shotzi, who's injured right now, and I'm sure she'd be doing something. But it's just like, the weirdos that we have on the fringes just to make our roster look like we have a little bit of difference. And here's a wrestler you can follow if you like weird people, but we're not really going to do anything with them. Give Shotzi something. Make a mixed tag title and give it to Shotzi Blackheart and Karrion Kross.
See, that is more interesting than anything they got going on with this. So,
or give Karrion Kross the speed belt. I don't fucking I got nothing. Please give Karrion Kross something.
I hope he wins here. It's the only way I see this going down. I don't think they're going to give it to Bobby Lashley. So,
Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Now this is basically what kind of nonsense do you want to book?
Exactly, and that's where it comes down. I don't think Triple H is going to go ahead and bring in the graphic of Stone Cold and John Cena.
Yep. Considering all their other trucks have WrestleMania logos on them.
WrestleMania 40 with the matches and all. Yeah, it was so specific, and it also feels like, okay, they lose night 1, so it's Bloodline rules, which they've already basically said is just.
Sorry, I gotta cut you off for a second though, because I meant to get this in last time we talked, so I'm gonna say it now.
I gotta hear you.
Bloodline rules. For Rock and Roman to be wanting Bloodline rules, it's awesome. It's an extra challenge for Cody, right? But if you think about it logically, Roman Reigns and The Rock shouldn't want Bloodline rules, because Bloodline rules is basically no DQ, right?
Exactly, yeah.
There are more enemies of the Bloodline than there are remaining members of the Bloodline. So if you're Roman Reigns, why would you open that door?
I think they are just so arrogant.
Oh, I get it.
They feel like they have it in the bag.
I get that's the easily acceptable reason. But realistically, who likes the Bloodline other than the people that are left in it?
Exactly, and that's the problem.
Okay, so we know the Hall of Famers, the legends that are apparently, hinted for this. You got your Austins and your Cenas, and somebody even said Hogan, because Hogan had the WrestleMania match with The Rock. Hogan showing up would pop me just because it'll upset everybody else.
I would like to see it.
If things have kind of been smoothed over and his accusations have gone away, they both have history with Brock. Just saying, there's rumors.
Brock's another one that does work in that scenario.
Cody's got the Avengers. He's got Sammy, KO, Jey Uso. Who's the one I'm missing? Seth Rollins.
And Rollins will be destroyed from the night before and from losing the title earlier in the opening match of the night, or at least.
But here's the thing, though. If that's the case, Seth Rollins, with his last breath, would come out for the revenge, because the beatdown from the Bloodline the previous night made him susceptible to Drew McIntyre earlier this night, and he would want to take that frustration out on them, even if he's got nothing left.
If there's anything left.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, okay. What do you think about the rumors of Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu? Do we see them, or do we get them on like a Raw after Mania thing?
I don't think we're going to see them. I
don't really know anything about either one of them. It's just something that's out there.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to see them at all whatsoever at Mania. Maybe we'll get it at the Raw after, but not before.
Okay, so now here's my really super shitty booking that nobody's going to like, and I'm going to have some fun with this. So we have to start on night one. We have to start with the tag match. We have to start with Judgment Day going out for the tag match, and cameras get knocked over in the back. There's an assault. Damian Priest is left laying. Finn Balor goes into that ladder match by himself to defend the titles, and JD McDonough goes and tries to help him. Maybe he won the Battle Royal the night before. They win, they lose, it doesn't really matter. What you see on the screen is Damian Priest has had the shit beat out of him, and you just see a hand pick up his Money in the Bank briefcase.
Ooh.
Off screen. Nobody sees who it is.
Just the hand.
Just the hand. So we get whatever nonsense happens in this match on night 2. Cody wins. Rah, rah, rah. He finished the story. Rah! Fireworks. Even the little credit in the corner because Triple H likes the post-credit thing, right?
Yeah. I totally, absolutely can see,
Lights go out. Lights go out. On the Tron, you see another hand pick up the briefcase once again. There's 2 figures on either side of the entranceway. One of them is Shawn Spears. One of them is a surprise. It's Ricky Starks. They point to the center. Out with the briefcase comes Max Jacobs, the freed man.
I would explode with excitement. We haven't heard him even mentioned in AEW. They named off every member of the roster the other night, but MJF as Edge cut that rah-rah AEW
and the crowd
Tony's great promo.
But you did see that MJF broke his Twitter silence.
Yes, finally to take
a shot at The Rock.
Exactly, to comment on a Rock tweet where Rock was commenting on his ex-fiance.
Yes.
So
here's the thing. I know I'm making a lot of jumps, and there's a lot of things in that story where you could just say, oh, okay, that's a bit of a leap, but if it happens, it'll be cool. If WrestleMania 40 goes off the air with MJF cashing in a briefcase that he didn't even win on Cody Rhodes to leave with the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship in his debut, it's not going to happen. Mind you. But
I know, but it would be great.
I mean, here's the thing, though. And here's how my brain works, right? You can't do what I said a couple days ago, or a couple weeks ago when we did a podcast. You can't do CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes right now. You can't have that punch right now. But what you can do is debut the Motor City Machine Guns on night 1 and MJF on night 2, and wait until CM Punk comes back, and by the time you get to WrestleMania 41, move it, I don't know where it's happening right now, but you move it to Chicago, and your main event for WrestleMania 41 in the WWE at WrestleMania under the big W, the big lights, Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk versus MJF.
Yeah, no kidding.
I am very tired, and I have had a long day, and I've been looking forward to saying those words for about 24 hours now.
Well, you know what? You're not wrong. I mean, I am thrilled to see where this ends. I mean, there's so many possibilities that it's actually fun to fantasy book again, and that hasn't happened in a long time. I mean, we've been trying to keep that sentiment alive, but now we've finally got something to not only sink our teeth.
Well, it used to be the fantasy booking with fans was, hey, imagine if we could fantasy book.
Exactly. Imagine if we could have these scenarios. Imagine if we could enjoy wrestling. I mean, you look at how awful some of the stuff we got was at WrestleMania 31, 2, 33. You know, we got some of the worst matches for a while.
I'll tell you this. This has been the example that I've been using for a while now, and then I'll leave it because I know you got to take off in a second. One of the big tricks that Triple H likes is you got a backstage segment going on and two people are talking, but the real story is what's happening in the background.
Exactly.
People are picking it apart. People are looking for Easter eggs. People are looking for what isn't in the foreground, so to speak. And the criticism is that not everything that you see in the background is anything. Not everything you see in the background pays off. Right. But they've built up the fans' trust enough now that we're bothering to look. And that's the fact that fans are bothering to look. The fact that fans are looking.
That we care about looking.
The fact that we know that there might be something there. The fact that we expect there to be something there. The fact that we trust there to be something there. WWE is kind of operating on all cylinders right now. I'm going to Money in the Bank in 3 months, and they've already announced that they're bringing in the small screen flex because that's how good the tickets are already. WrestleMania is going to be fucking awesome. It really is. And it's one of those.
I can't wait.
And the thing about it is it's not particularly the Bloodline. It's not particularly Roman and Cody. It's not particularly even like I would say the one I'm most hyped for is Becky and Rhea, and we're getting that as the opening match. But it's not even. And I don't know if you'll agree with me on this or not. For me, this WrestleMania and the hype that I have for this WrestleMania, and yes, I'm including Stand and Deliver, Oi Oi Oi, in that as well.
Yes.
Yes, I listen to What Culture. It's fine. But it's not. If you ask me to pick out what's the one thing you're looking forward to at WrestleMania, I can't pick a thing. I feel this way, whatever this is, I feel this way about WrestleMania. That's the best thing about WrestleMania. It's an overall thing. Like you look at the 6-man with Bobby Lashley and company taking on Karrion Kross and company. I don't really care about that match, but also I don't care that I don't care about that match because it's gonna look huge and it's gonna be in a big fucking stadium and everything's gonna be bathed in that fucking like seafoam green color of the WrestleMania logo this year, and it's going to be awesome. You're going to see 12 people throw ladders at each other. It's going to be awesome. We might see the Motor City Machine Guns.
We might see, the Bloodline finally crumble. We might see the end of the story.
Okay. I have to say one more thing before you go, because this is the last chance that I get to say this before Cody actually does it. I'm happy for Cody. Cody's got a big thing going on right now. It's his story. He's about to dismantle the Bloodline. He does not deserve to be the one to dismantle the Bloodline. I don't mind that he's getting the title. I don't mind that he's beating Roman. The Bloodline existed before he existed in WWE again. So he doesn't deserve. Should have been Sammy. Should have been KO. Should have been Jay fucking Uso. It's not. It's Cody. I gotta live with it. It's the last chance I get to say it. But it's the hill I'm going to die on. If they had taken the Bloodline to the fullest extent, the one to dethrone Roman Reigns and dismantle the Bloodline completely would have been Jey Uso. Instead, what I think is going to happen is after they beat the shit out of each other on night 1, I think Jimmy comes to Jay's aid in the brawl at the main event of night 2, and they turn on Roman collectively. And the Usos maybe not reform, but they're on the same page again. And Jimmy leaving Roman and Solo kind of going off on his own and The Rock hanging out for a little bit, maybe with Roman, who knows. But the thing that takes the championship from Roman Reigns is Cody Rhodes. The thing that breaks up the Bloodline is Jay bringing Jimmy to his side. I think there needs to be something like that.
It'd be good.
Somewhere in the story. Of course, I would pull out a Canadian example. Have the Sammy KO hug.
That would be great.
When they fought and finally
just kind of pass out into each other.
Yeah. Where KO finally forgave him and they had the big hug and the hug got the pop.
Exactly.
And it wasn't a Daniel Bryan, Dr. Shelby thing. It was a legitimate hug it out thing. There's so much, look at how far we've gone from what the card actually. This is what this WrestleMania is doing. This WrestleMania is going to be a lot of fucking fun. I don't know how much I'm going to respond to. I don't know if you guys are going to get, talking to the audience for a second. Sorry, Jake. I don't know if you guys are going to get a particular stand and deliver review from me on the weekend. I don't know if you're going to get a night 1 review, night 2 review. I will be up here at some point to talk about everything.
Absolutely.
I have no idea what my schedule is. I'll rope in Jake on Monday because I'm not working, and we'll figure something out.
We'll try and recap the Mania.
Yes. And after, I will say, I said this to you in private, and I'll say it here too. After we get Stand and Deliver out of the way, you and I are going to sit down and do a separate pod on the current state of NXT.
Absolutely.
Because that's something that we could dig into with both hands as well. Anyways, I know you got to go. You're a busy guy. Tell them where to find you.
You can find me on the Joe Cronin Show, and if I ever get my Twitter back, it's at Countdown Ended. But you can also hit me up on Instagram at Countdown Ended as well.
And if they tweet you, you'll still see it. You just can't.
I can still see it. I just can't reply. I'm still in that weird state of limbo. But hey.
So go harass Jake now while he can't reply. I don't know why I told you to harass Jake, but anyways, it's how we show love here in the IWC. Genuinely, for anybody that's still listening, because I know we've been going on almost 2 hours now. Thanks everybody for listening. I hope everybody has a great WrestleMania / Stand and Deliver oi weekend, and yeah, you know where to find me or you wouldn't be here. I've been Spaz, he's been Jake. This has been your WrestleMania 40 weekend preview thing. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, me and super sexy Jake fucking DeMarco are tagging out. Bye, guys.